What is up, y'all? Welcome to New York Liberty Fan TV. It is your boy Rem, aka Kenny St. Ville. This episode is sponsored by Bucket for Bucket Podcast. And you already know the deal. I am here with my guy, John Armwood from She Got Game, the lead reporter. John, what is up, my brother? How you feeling?
Good, man. I'm good. I'm blessed to be on the show, brother. A lot of moving and grooving these last couple of weeks and these, past couple months. But, always legendary link ups when I meet up with the guy, man.
Yes, it's always a legendary link up, but I gotta catch you. I gotta catch you on some false words I heard. You said a couple of weeks, bro. You've been grinding for years, bro. It's been everything that's been coming up, everything I've been seeing you do these last couple of weeks is all a build up, and you've been planting the seeds for this thing to continue to grow. So I'm hyped to speak to you, one, and I'm super proud of you for everything that you're doing. So clap it up for you, brother. Um, First of all, John Armwood, he's like I said, the lead reporter for She Got Game. Right now, I linked up with John as he was covering the New York Liberty.
Sir,
These past how many seasons? It's going on 3 seasons now.
season for me, yeah.
3 seasons going on. I'm covering the New York Liberty, and I also do know that you cover Rutgers basketball.
Sir,
And we got to talk a little bit about that McDonald's All American
sir.
game real quick too. But if you don't know, today is April 6th, so this is the championship game for women's college basketball. We got UConn and South Carolina tipping off right after this episode. Right after this episode,
Mm-hmm.
John, talk to me about the Final Four matchups. Is it the championship matchup, and is it everything? Is this women's basketball March Madness? Was it everything that you hope it would be? And talk to me about this matchup today.
Yeah, no, man. A lot of stuff to unpack there. And first of all, just want to say thank you. I appreciate it, man. The work is being seen, and that's all it's about, just being consistent. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you for giving me my flowers. But just to touch on the Final Four, man, this March Madness has been nuts, man. Absolutely nuts. I mean, I know we're dealing mostly on the women's side, but the men's side has been nuts too. It's just been a hell of a March Madness on both ends. And I think, I mean, you can't really write it any better. I mean, I think the two best teams are going at it. I do think we were robbed, unfortunately, with the Juju injury. So I do think USC was kind of undermanned playing against, UConn and a few of the teams that they were supposed to play. So I was a little salty about that. However, God's timing, and she ended up getting hurt. So I wish her amazing health, and I wish her a healthy recovery. But I mean, the best teams played the best teams. All the number one brag. These are the two top dogs going ahead of each other. This is Paige senior year. You got Fawali. You got freaking Bree Hall. Like this is what you want to see, man. This is the juggernauts of the juggernauts. And
Yeah.
even the teams losing. I mean, my girl Booker over there in Texas. Oh my God, like these teams. It's crazy. I do think this was a woman's March Madness. I think so. It's been that way for the last couple of years. Haley Van Lith, resurging
Oh man.
and building her name back up. I think her draft stock has just risen. You know, it's unbelievable, man. And I again covering this when it wasn't cool. A lot of people are just getting here. A lot of people are just kind of hopping on the wave. I've been doing this when it was 10 people in the locker rooms and 10 people in the
Yeah.
stands, you know what I mean? And now it's kind of cool to see people are flying in to Tampa in thousands to watch them, knowing the men's are also like, it's crazy, man. I think there's a huge shift coming.
Yeah.
And little do people know, man. I mean, we got boots on the ground and She Got Game. So these new high school girls are only getting better, man. And like that goes right into the McDonald's All American. Some of these girls are dunking, man. Some of these girls performed in a dunk contest with the men. That's unbelievable.
That's
Granted, they didn't
unbelievable.
win, but it's just such an evolution in the game, man. And I'm just happy to be a part of it, man. It's been a hell of a journey, but it's beautiful to see, and I'm happy these women are finally getting their flowers, bro.
Boots on the ground, and you seeing it from, and it's like you said, it's not just the professionals. You're looking at it from the college scene, you're looking at it from the high school scene, and you're seeing everything. But sticking with this South Carolina and this UConn, right? And you mentioned something because there's been so many storylines and how the women definitely shout out the men. The men they definitely had an amazing matchup last night.
Mm-hmm.
Duke got upset. Auburn got upset. That was all, and both of those teams had the lead at the half. had momentum, and the other teams with defense
Yep.
came back, slowed the game down, and kind of it was different. But with
Absolutely.
these women's, there's so many different storylines. Like you mentioned, Haley Van Lith and TCU, what they were able to do, and you're talking about Juju Watkins and that unfortunate injury. But I do wanna play a little bit of what if.
Okay.
Do you think we would be talking South Carolina versus UConn had it been a fully healthy USC versus UConn?
As much as you kind of just mentioned it in the men's game, as much as stars, I think stars are imperative to your success. You need one or two. I do think when it comes to March Madness and things of that nature, I think that's when the third guy, the third or fourth girl steps up. They're the determinant factors. And believe it or not, as great as USC is and as talented as they are, and we have a few she got games over. I mean, she got game features and stuff over there. I think UConn's just depth is better. I think they're deeper in their bench, and to be honest, I think they would have wore Juju down because Juju would have had to win that game, and she would have had to put up about 30, 35. Then her next, the next player, Kiki, would have had to come down on Sarah Strong, probably record a double double, and then they needed that third guy, Kennedy, got to come in, give you about 10, 15 points. So I do, and they're all freshmen, they're all young. I do think
Yeah,
it would have been a tall task for them, but it would have been a hell of a matchup. I mean, who wouldn't have wanted to see Paige and Juju go at it?
yeah,
That's the that's the two heads right now. So when they say women basketball, regardless we're talking WNBA or not, like a lot of the faces right now is Juju, Paige. You could throw a few other names in there, but I think personally, I think UConn. I like the what if. I do enjoy it, but I think UConn might have slid by. I think just
yeah.
this time because of their depth. I think.
I always pose that what if question. I hate it sometimes too, but I agree with you 100%. I think that the experience would have superseded everything, especially with the talent. Like even going on the men's side, you see the guys like Cooper Flag, but then when it was time to really ball, they like, oh no, defense wins, and this is how we gonna slow the game down and do certain things. So I think the coaching too, like there's Gino obviously knows he's been there before, he knows what to do. So I think it's exactly how it should be. So now, staying on this, South Carolina versus UConn, because it's going to happen in about an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Less than. Who
Yeah.
you got? Who's winning this game today? Who do you got?
I'll be honest. I think my heart tells me my basketball IQ and heart tells me I think South Carolina's going to walk away with this. However, I do. I think personally, what I'm rooting for. I would want to see Paige get that fairy tale ending.
Yeah,
I want to see Paige. I would like to see UConn kind of resurge back to the top. I think it's good for basketball. Personally, I think. And to be honest, look, man, Dawn Staley's got 10. Like Kim Mulkey said, she's got 10 McDonald All-Americans. I don't care who you are. That's hard to do. That's hard to overcome. And people may not understand the McDonald's All-American, but their ninth person on the bench could go over UConn and probably start. That's
absolutely.
that's
Absolutely.
unbelievable. That's a very tall task to sit against. And even if Paige goes out and gets 50, and even AZ, like UConn, I think needs a lot to happen. Even when they beat Texas, AZ went crazy, right?
Yeah.
We got a lot of games where AZ is very silent. She's very shrieky. You know what I'm saying? So tonight they can win. I think they're gonna have to shoot exceptionally well. I think Paige is gonna have an ideal night, but they're putting Raven on her, and they're just gonna freaking suppress her. They're throwing the three top
Yeah.
defenders on her. So I do think South Carolina will supersede simply just because of their depth, their experience. They're not a young team. Um, but I'll be honest, I like to see Paige walk off in the sunset with this one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's the storylines on both sides are amazing. I love the storylines on both sides either way, but definitely want to see Paige, leave with one. One player that I want to shout out real quick too, and she's getting a lot of love and recognition, and you just said her name was Raven Johnson, because we look at all of these athletes that have been killing the game, Malaysia, we look at Juju, we look at Flauget, all of these like star athletes, but what Raven Johnson brings to the game is these intangibles that
Hmm.
coaches, they realize like, yo, we need this, we need these intangibles and all that other stuff. It's gonna work out. Her offense, it's gonna come into play. But Raven Johnson, she has a particular set of skills, and like a lot of people can see, like she's a straight up winner. So I just wanted to shout out Raven Johnson and everything that she's doing. But you said something. They have 10 McDonald's All Americans. And speaking of McDonald's All Americans, bro, I seen the McDonald's All Americans. I was unable to attend, but I seen you. I seen you killing the scene. I seen you
Yeah.
killing that scene. First of all, talk to me. How was it doing I'm like covering the McDonald's All American? Was this your first one, and how was it covering?
Correct. This was my first one in my history of reporting. I've been reporting professionally about 3, 4 years, but I think my entire time probably about 7, 8 years. And it was just a huge honor, man. I mean, like this is pretty much the pathway. This is the transition. Every big star we know on the men's side, every big star we've known on the women's side, they all come through this prestigious, entity, the McDonald's All American game, and it was just an honor, man, to be in New York, being surrounded by the celebrities, being surrounded, just by the top notch facilities. It was unbelievable, man. It was unbelievable to kind of put yourself in those spaces. It's a little different. You see it on TV. Gilbert Arenas is on the court. You got Mellow down. You see Stewie. All the girls came out. Dejanay got to meet Courtney and those girls. Was eating lunch 10 feet away from Angel. So it's just a different energy, man. It's different.
Congrats, bro.
And no, it's unreal, man. And it was just an honor to have me, man. When they came there, a lot of people recognized She Got Game. That was probably one of the most rewarding parts about it. A lot of people spoke highly of She Got Game. In fact, the head of McDonald's All American Media Team came up to me, and before I even got my credentials, like, I love what you guys are doing out there. I love what you're building. Keep going. And that was just super encouraging. I'm like, hold on, man. I'm here with the ESPNs and a lot of these guys, and it's kind of cool to see that work, be shown and be seen by other people, and it's just cool, man. It's hard to put in. It's hard to put in words, but unbelievable experience, man. I think if I would have loved to see you. I know in New York and Brooklyn, you can't go nowhere without seeing my boy Kenny. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So I would have loved to catch my man out there, but he said he had to run into something, and he got caught up doing something, and but it was unbelievable, man, unbelievable, and it's it better. I mean, you're from
Yeah.
Brooklyn, I'm big Jersey over here, but it's still when you go to New York, it's just a different
It's
that
bro.
basketball. It's a different.
Barclays Center is also your home, man. It's also your stomping grounds. That's also where
Right,
where you getting everything done. You putting your boots to the ground and
right.
getting all of this content. So what do you think was your best interaction throughout that weekend? Besides, because you said something that was super dope for them for one of the heads to come out and recognize She Got
Absolutely.
Game. But what was your personal experience? Because I saw you interviewed Rakia, you interviewed my guy Dave East, you interviewed a couple people I seen on that. So what was like your best experience that weekend?
Um, if we were talking about just meeting someone new, um, I would probably have to say, probably one of my. It wasn't filmed on this encounter, but one of the coolest encounters I was able to meet Al Harrington, and we were able to
Okay,
have a conversation. I was able to meet Jazzy Jeff's son. He was a
dope, dope.
really good DJ, and then I think probably the most meaningful, and because we talked off air, like I asked Rakea questions, but even the conversation we had off air and just how just down to earth she was, and she was really accepting, and she was, she kind of was putting me on game a little bit. She was like really excited about the Sparks are building, just really lively, man. It was just great energy. But I would say probably the best encounter was Rakea Jackson. That's no disrespect to Davey. Davey's the man. We were talking, we kind of spitballing a little bit off air, but Rakea, it was a cool conversation, and outside of just new people I met, it's always a good time seeing my mentor, man. I love seeing Scoop B. He happened to be in the building. He surprised me, and we got to talking, and we got to really throwing all ideas and stuff off each other. He was giving me advice and stuff, and he's been a pivotal part in my success as well. So it was just really cool to see him, Lovely to talk to Rakea. Lovely talk like to see the McDonald's All American. Like I said, top of the media. Give me some flowers and stuff. It was a lot, man. It was a lot in them 2 days. It was a lot. It was a lot to
A
deal
lot
with.
to process, a lot to process. And you kind of like this perfect segue because you kind of jumped the gun a little bit into one of the questions I had for you was about like who your biggest inspirations are in the media industry. And I see that you working a little bit with Scoop B, and like he's the guy. Like he's the guy like Scoop B Radio. I seen him like working for a really long time, but one thing that I love is that the encounters that he has with the players, you can tell that players trust him, respect him, and the respect that he has when covering players. And it's like sometimes, especially in this media space, people forget about that respect aspect, the trust factor, and stuff like that. And I think that's a lovely model. So I want you to tell me about who are your biggest inspirations in this media space.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. When I first got into it, like many people, I feel like I wanted to be Stuart Scott. I wanted to be Stuart Scott and Stephen A. They were probably my two, and the big fella Chris Broussard is also out here
Hmm.
in Jersey. They were probably my two or three biggest. I want to be those guys. I want to be those guys, you know. And as I got into it, I started going more into the writing side and more into the reporting versus just TV and being an entertainer. That's when I kind of started to fall in love with different writers and different I fell in love with Woj. I fell in love with Scoop. And I was following Scoop for years. And one of the companies I ended up writing for during the pandemic, Heavy.com, he was under actually. And that's when we were able to connect. And I was able to do an interview with him. And then from there, we were able to build a connection. And, I'm honored, man. I'm honored to work under someone like Scoop B. He's taking a liking to me and he's just kind of giving me so much game. I tell him all the time, I've kind of helped him transition into a market into Rutgers. Because as you know, I covered Jersey all the way down, Princeton, Rutgers, Seton
Yeah.
Hall, I'm all over. And he told me he wanted to come to Rutgers, kind of get his foot back in Jersey, and I was able to help him transition to get that. And just man, it's been priceless working under him, man. Meeting people he knows and just learning from him, being a sponge. It's different. Like you said, he's been doing this. You're older than me a little bit. He's been doing this for years, longer than me, probably double my senior. You know what I mean? And to be completely honest, it's been priceless. It's been priceless. It's helped me with my writing, it's helped me better with my communication with players. And you're right. I think that is a key part. I think a lot of people when they come into this report and they fall too in the lane of a reporter. I'm gonna be honest. I think if I went up to Rickey or Davies as a reporter, I don't know if I get those interviews. You know what I'm saying? It's more being relatable. It's more giving them that comfortability and trust to kind of understand you're a human too. You
Yep.
know, you want this content, you want these questions, but hey, look, Rickea Jackson, outside of basketball, you're a young African American woman in New York enjoying yourself. Like we have a related. You're not that younger than me. You know what I'm saying? So it wouldn't
Yeah.
be a surprise if I ever caught you outside or anything. So there's a relatability, and you kind of want to break those stigmas of hey, I'm media. And I think now a lot of people look at media as someone out to get them, someone out to try and get a gotcha moment. And I think
Yeah.
what Scoop has done, and it was able to teach me is to kind of fall in the realm of being the people's champ versus, a media darling, if that makes sense.
That's at that, and that's fire. That's absolutely, and that's something that you're on the path on. Um,
Sure.
I don't know what your path is necessarily in the media space. If you're going to stick to writing, if you want to get on, but something that you said you spoke about the Stephen A's, the Chris Broussards, the Stuart Scotts that are actually on the screen. Bro, you're an amazing writer, John. I read your stories. You're an amazing writer, but another thing that's amazing about you is your presence, the voice. I call you the voice on a low, the voice on a low. So I'm just letting you know right now. You might
Yeah,
be
yeah,
into writing right now, but
yeah.
that might not be your path. I see so much like so much grander and bigger things for you, bro. And I'm not just saying that because you're on the screen. Like your presence, and I see the work that you're doing from, like I said, watching you cover the New York Liberty this year. This is my first year doing it professionally as
Sure.
a media professional, and I got to see the work that you put in. You gave me a couple of gems too that I appreciate and take to heart. So it's like I understand that, but also the way that you're talking to these, you understand the game, but also that relatability. I see something so much bigger for you, bro. So I just want to tell you to continue your path, man. Continue what you're doing. Sky's the limit, bro. Sky's the limit. But whatever you got going, keep going, bro. Keep pushing. Bootstraps tied, 10 toes to the crown. Keep doing what you do, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, I really appreciate that, man. A lot of people. Well, you're one of the few. You kind of came into the Liberty with a fan base, with a very strong fan base, because a lot of people. I don't know if they know, but I'm gonna just let them know the content you were doing. It was so cool because I was on the professional side. I'm dealing with the players and coaches or whatever the case, but you were also boots on the ground dealing with nothing but the fans, and that's where if we're being clear, that's where all this stuff lies. Those are
Yeah,
the spinners, those are the patrons, those are kind of what fuels this whole thing. Liberty could get whoever they want to get, and they could bring in all this money, but if no one's coming, what are we talking about? And I believe last
absolutely,
year, I believe last year, correct me if I'm wrong, I think 75% plus games were sold out crowds. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
I remember walking through the freaking crowd with you a couple of times. I'm like, you're getting pulled. People are like, Kenny, you got kids. I'm like, damn, who I'm with? My boy's a celebrity out there. You and Kayla, you guys were killing it out there. Kayla's another one walking through.
Yeah.
People are pulling at her. So,
Shout out to Kayla.
oh, shout out to
Kayla
my girl,
Brady.
man.
Yes.
You guys. So, to be completely honest, man, it wasn't hard, man. I seen it, and I think you're doing an amazing job too, brother.
I
Everything you
appreciate
do,
that.
I know you're jumping around and you're on this pocket, you're on that pocket, you're back to boots on the ground. And then a lot of people don't know, man. I think I don't have kids, I don't have a family, I'm still young. Man, you're doing all this with a family, man. Like that's not easy. That's not easy. And it's so cool to see, man. I love it. Sometimes
I
you bring your
appreciate
daughter
that.
to the game and stuff. Unbelievable, man.
I,
So, while you're giving me my flowers, you're the man as well, bro. And
I appreciate that, man.
we're talking about freaking, on presence and camera stuff, man. You're on the real, man. You're on the
I,
real.
I, I appreciate that 100%. And I want to take that time to shout out the Liberty fans because without the Liberty fans, like none of this is possible. None of this is possible. I'm not in the buildings. I don't get credentialed. I don't do any of this without Liberty fans because like they are literally the heartbeat, not only of the organization of this page, of like everything. Like yo, real talk, like coming into that space, it was a real tough time for me, but Liberty like really like pulled me out of a lot. So I'm so appreciative and grateful for that. And as we're on the topic, because the segues is perfect.
Bro.
The segues is perfect because we got to talk about the squad. We got to talk about the champion New York Liberty. You got a chance to cover them the last couple of years, but I think what's crazy is the fact that you got to see them, in the process of, building the building process, getting Stewie, getting the big three, seeing them lose, and then and actually covering I've been spoiled. My first year covering professionally, we won a
Yeah,
championship. I'm
yeah,
wearing the shirt. I did this on purpose. I'm wearing the shirt that I wore on Game Five. I
that's
wore this on
amazing.
Game Five, and I have my teaspoon shirt that you see in the back right there. I
Absolutely.
was wearing that right under this. Yeah, like having that experience. What was that experience like for you? First of all, talk to me about your first year covering the Liberty. What was that like for you? Your first year?
Look, overwhelming, overwhelming. There's a real thing. Once you get into this media space, people hear about it, but that New York media is something else. That New York media is very different. And unlike many men, I got thrown to the wolves. Like, I asked for this moment and I got gifted an opportunity and luckily I was able to run with it. I got my opportunity and I ran. I never looked back. But with all due respect, bro, that New York media took me for a spin. My first year here, I'll be honest, like, and I kind of came into it more as a fan. I had to learn a lot of. I didn't have a mentor probably until about a year ago. So when I came into this thing, I was still learning how to write. I was still learning how to find angles. At some point, I was literally just speaking as a fan, watching this to tell the other fans, and that's how I was writing. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot to dissect, but on the media side, absolutely overwhelmed. It was more learning. People had to pull me under their wing. I shouted out Scoop, one of my closest friends, Marvin Chambers. Yeah, he was one of the few people. He always wears the fedora and the
But though,
suit.
yeah, Marvin Chambers. Shout out Marvin Chambers, man. I see
My
him.
guy, man. He
Seasoned.
well, very seasoned. He's also a vet, and he pulled me to the side. He saw I was working, but he was like, "Hey, maybe you should try this and this," and I still utilize some of those things to today. So even Marv, helped me out as well. And then just as a fan, though, when I came in, people don't even remember Natasha Howard and Sabrina and all those girls. Like they had to fight to get into the playoffs that year. When they got into the playoffs, we got knocked out by the Sky.
Yeah.
And that was Candace Parker, and that was Candace Slew.
Yes, they got knocked out by the eventual champs.
They literally, yeah, and it was a nail bite, So just to see them in each year. So I will say, in my 3 years, I guess I am kind of spoiled. That first one was tough. The first one was tough. We got knocked out first round. That second time, we go to the championship, lose to the Aces. And then this third time was super rewarding to see it all come.
Third time's a charm.
And it's been unbelievable, man, to see Sabrina because Sabrina wasn't Sabrina in 2020. Like the Sabrina we know now, you had to see her develop. You had to see her get bigger. You had to see her get poised. And Stewie and all these girls like come together. And if you're there all season, you get to see these girls mesh and you get to see them grow as a team. And it's just really rewarding, man. All the ups and downs. Benaja's story last year, just freaking up and down, in and out of the lineup. Comes in when they need her the most. Comes in clutch. Big clutch for the Liberty against Minnesota. So I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed, and it's been a hell of a journey. But I will say, each year as they progress, I feel like I progress as well in that media space. Now, I think dealing with the New York Liberty has helped me prepare for when I'm covering the Giants, when I'm covering, the Jets, or when I'm covering whatever the case is. That New York media is a real thing. It's overwhelming, and if you're not prepared for it, or someone's not guiding you through it, you can get lost in it for sure.
Yeah, and I'm gonna echo that sentiments that especially that first space, that first year, I was like, I'm just like looking
Yeah.
around like, damn, this is fast. Like it's very fast paced. It's dog eat dog.
Yep.
It's yeah. So yeah, it's having a mentor in any space, like just in life in general, having somebody to help guide you to kind of lead the way. That's why you always gotta build relationships and stuff like that, because you never know who you're talking to. Because one thing about the media space too, it could be very like lunchroom table, like lunchroom, like
Yeah.
how it was in high school and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So you got to be very careful in these spaces, but at the same time, keep your essence, like keep your gems and keep doing what you do. But at the same time, um, there's wolves in this industry, but at the
Yeah.
same time, you keep on your path and you just do what you do, genuinely, and putting the players first and everything like that, and putting that respect. All of that is going to supersede what's going on in these spaces. So again, like I agree with you. That first year is something it could be daunting, but seeing you like develop year by year and where you are now and where you continue to grow, because this ain't the stop. This ain't the stopping point for John Armwood or She Got Game. This
So,
is just we just on the road. You just on the path right now. So ain't no telling where it's going. Straightforward, high up, but keep doing what you do, as I keep saying, man. But yeah, the New York Liberty, man. So this year, this off season, there's been a lot going on this off season. We spoke about Benijah, Rutgers alum, just like you. Right now, we about to miss my girl for like the whole season. She had that knee surgery. Talk to me about your thoughts on Benijah and who you think has to step up in those roles.
yeah, no, it's a great question. Ironically, I got to see Benaja at the McDonald's All American game. She came in with the boot, man. It sucked, but she is in high spirits, so everyone wants to know. She was laughing. She had her girls with her. Yeah, I'm assuming they're family or friends, whatever the case is. So she was in high spirits. I got to speak to her for a little. So she is sad, but she's in high spirits for people at home. Now on the aspect of stepping up, I think Phoebich is gonna. I mean, she stepped up big last year. Let's be clear, but I think she's gonna come. She's gonna be forced to come into herself because now it's not. Let's just play a role here and there when she's not able. It's this is your role now, and a little bit different last year. She was kind of just a 3-and-D guy. She played the best girl. She came down, knocked down some shots. Versus a little different. But Nigel was running the offense for her sometimes when Sabrina went out.
Yeah.
But Nigel also when plays and stuff get messy, hey, give it to me in the last 6 seconds. Let me go get a bucket.
Yeah,
Um,
bucket
I
beat.
will say I've seen Phoebus go score, but we haven't really had the opportunity to see her bag open up. Now I do think with the addition of Marine Johansson, Johansson, I hope
Johannes.
Johansson, yes, she has a bag, and I think that relief of Benaja not being there, she's easily capable of getting 10, 15 points off the bench, easy.
Easy, easy.
So I do think that German, that European connection we got, and we're building over there. I think that might be special when that second unit comes up, to be completely honest. But I do think all eyes are going to be on that fee bitch, and obviously, I think Tasha, I think Tasha Cloud's obviously a huge addition as well. But I do think she's going to be there to kind of bring in that veteran presence, kind of what we thought Sloot wanted. Like that second year that
Yeah,
we had Sloot, you could tell Sloot was kind of falling off the wheel a little bit. She was
yeah.
battling injuries, she's battling stuff off the court. I think Tasha Cloud's going to be able to step in and kind of
Mhm.
relieve that role at a higher level. To be
Yeah,
completely
yeah,
honest.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
yeah, definitely with Sloot, especially Sloot last year with her, the passing of her mother,
yeah,
and just being in and out the lineup was tough. Uh, for me, I think I know you said something about Leo's bag. So Leo is such a good basketball player that it gets me mad sometimes because she's so unselfish.
yeah,
She's
yeah,
so
yeah.
unselfish. Yo, Leo has a bag. Leo has a bag.
Did she win? She won MVP in Germany, didn't she?
She's an MVP. Like Leo has a bag. Her like she definitely shoots the three ball at a high percentage, but
Sure.
there's other things she can do. She can put the ball, she can get to the basket, she can
Okay.
draw a foul. Like Leo has a bag. Leo is just playing her role, the role that she's asked to play to the
Mhm.
best of her ability as she only can.
Yeah.
Like we remember Leo, it was kind of Leo and KT last year who were
Yes.
filling in for when Benijah was out, when Sloot was out,
Yes.
that lineup was something different. But I think the addition of Natasha Cloud, I think that's going to be big, like huge.
Mhm.
And in a sense, it's a gift and a curse to see Benijah Laney get hurt, but I think the gift in its sense is for Benijah to get her full rehab because remember last year she had that procedure. She wasn't fully 100%. I saw
Right.
Benijah at the parade and Benijah was still like reaching over to autograph fans with that brace and it was like, and it was scary, but I was also happy to see her back in Unrivaled and whatever happened in Unrivaled force I guess, obviously re-aggravated something, but this is a blessing in disguise that it doesn't happen during the season
Yep.
and she can get her full time to not only get a successful surgery, which she had,
Yep.
but also to just rehab this process through. And then with that, there's an open roster spot now. There's an open roster spot when you think about it because there's an injured player. They will have. I think that opens things up for Jalen Sherrod because when you look at the roster, you look at that roster, you like, oh, like you're looking at all these names and signings. I'm starting to one of my favorite players, Jalen Sherrod. I'm like, I want Jalen on this team. Jalen deserves to be on this team. I think this opens up an opportunity for Jalen to be on that. And that's just me speculating. I haven't spoken to anybody on that, but I think that there's plenty of opportunities there. But what do you think this season is going to look like? Do you think the New York Liberty are going to have with just knowing that Benijah's out, knowing that we lost KT, Courtney
Yeah.
Vandersloot, we have some new pieces here. Are the New York Liberty set to repeat? Do you think this team is enough to repeat?
I think on paper, a lot of people, I think a lot of people are going to sleep on that European wave, that Brandella loves to bring in, because this isn't our first time she's dabbled out there in Europe and grabbed some key guys. I think we're going to shock many people. So I do think personally being able to witness and see these guys play, I think on paper we can at least make a run. I think we're going to go deep and make a run. But I do think it's the quality of those secondary pieces that if we could get a Jalen Sherrod, I do think while that starting five is still that starting five, let's be clear. I think a few more depth pieces, because even if we still got Marine, right? But losing KT, losing yeah, Benaj is getting out of it, so losing key pieces like that is the reality if some of our younger guys are going to step up, or maybe we still some other guys. Like, I mean, she's been on the market, and I think she came in great. I think she brings a huge asset. I think she brings a great 3 and D. I thought we should go out and get Esene Kalu.
Mm.
Also big jersey. Also big
So,
jersey. But
so yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, I would think maybe like an Esene Kalu because what I'm seeing now, from what I'm seeing, we're bringing a lot of power, but it's only one ball to go around. Remember with KT and even Benaj, sometimes Benaj would go out and get 5 points, but she held their best score at about 10.
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely,
some of the things that made us so great, a lot of things weren't put into the stat sheet. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
So I think a player like that, an unselfish player like that, could really help us. And I think that's the one or two pieces we're missing to absolutely make me say, yeah, we're going back.
Woods, I think we have those on the low. I'm not gonna lie because we forgetting about Rebecca Gardner. Rebecca Gardner, I think that signing was a low key. That was a fire signing because that happened March 2023. That signing happened March 2023. I'll never forget. She was injured. She tore her Achilles a couple of weeks before that
Okay.
that March signing happens, and then I'm like, oh, this is dope. This is dope. And I'm looking at the comments, and people are like, oh, why'd they get this injured player and so and so. And I got the chance to actually speak to Jonathan Cove about this,
Okay.
and like to actually see it all like play, like break out the way it's played out. He's making these moves and thinking about expansion. We going through expansion. We just went through expansion, and we about to go through expansion again next year for two teams. So it's
Mhm.
like, yo, like I have to make sure that we're good. And without like people prior to Rebecca Gardner tearing her Achilles, she was highly coveted. There was WNBA teams looking for her,
Absolutely.
but because she tore it, it ain't happened. But who New York got? New York has the HSS, the Hospital of Special Surgery. This is where everybody goes for rehab.
Yep.
Brianna Stewart before she came to New York, Kevin Durant, all of the top athletes they're going to HSS, and
Absolutely.
the fact that they got her here, they went through her whole rehab process and watched her from start to finish, and she got to see the girls win a championship. She knows everything that it takes, what her role is going to be if she does make the final roster. I think low key, and to me, I think she's a better offensive player than Kayla Thornton, but she's just as good
Yeah.
of a defender as well. So I think we got to watch out for people like Rebecca Gardner. We got to watch out for Isabel Harrison, who has
Yes.
experience with Sandy Brondello already. So for me, I'm expecting nothing less. I'm expecting nothing less for a back-to-back championship. I'm gonna be wearing the same shirt, game five,
Absolutely.
game seven, whatever it is. I'm gonna be wearing the same exact shirt for the championship game. But I'm expecting them to go back to back because I know Indiana's gonna be knocking really soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Indiana's gonna be knocking really soon. They're gonna do whatever it takes for that girl Caitlin Clark to win. And the teams are getting better. There's more teams. There's more talent, and
Yeah.
we're gonna continue to like lose people to expansion drafts. So I think that's the crazy thing, man. But before I let you go, because I know we coming to time, we coming at time right now. But um, is there anything that you want to highlight specifically in your career and She Got Game? Anything happening with the Liberty? Anything happening like anything that you want to speak about that I missed? Let me know.
Yeah, like I said, man, I just say stay tuned. I appreciate everyone who supported me. And I do think it's just been a hell of a journey. It's been a hell of a ride. It's been a great journey, and we support everyone who supports us. And I think what we do here is not just your standard reporting. We really try to tell these young lady stories or these grown women stories. And I believe that a lot of these stories are imperative for other young ladies around the world to to kind of be moved by or to kind of be inspired by. So, I think the next field we're actually looking into, it's growing rapidly. A lot of people could expect us to be out there for women's flag football. It's
Mm,
growing rapidly. Look, we got we got a team. It's a team of us, and we're making connections, and we're talking to the right people. So I would say possibly that's where you could kind of see where we're gonna put our boots on the ground next. But I will say She Got Game is a national platform. We're going to Europe. We're going to we just had a girl from Turkey. We got a lot of things moving and grooving, and I just say tune in, and especially this offseason, we got so much more coming. and
That's fire.
just really happy to be president of operations over here, and to really see this thing built, because when we started, it was just me and the founder, Ahmad Thomas. I didn't mention him, but he's the founder. He found She Got Game. We kind of put our heads together, and ever since we've been running and growing rapidly. So I'm just honored, man, and it's a privilege to have the people supporting us, and it's even better to know that they enjoy our message as well.
That's dope. And you said something about women's flag football real quick. If you haven't, I want you to check out the New York Football Wolves. They are a professional tackle football league, and some of those players probably do play flag football. I know one of their players, their quarterback, did represent, I believe, in the Olympics or something. I forget where they did like the flag football stuff, but check out the New York Football Wolves. I was actually supposed to cover them
Okay.
last year with JSN, but I don't know what happened. I wrote a story with JSN. They ain't published my story, but it's cool. It is what it is. But it was just happening. It was happening with the same time as the New York Liberty season, so it was a little bit difficult for me to actually cover the New York Football Wolves. But those ladies are like back to back to back champions
Really?
in the professional and when I say professional tackle football, bro, I will send you a link. Check the New York
They're wearing
football.
pads. Like they
The
got
New
the
York,
helmet
they
pads.
wearing helmets and pads, and they knocking each other on. Like, yo,
That's
it's
cool.
football.
Okay.
It's football. It's tough, and they got some really nice players.
Okay.
So I, shout them out. I want to shout out the New York Football Wolves and all the ladies sports, all the ladies who are playing hockey, all types, all of these sports, all of these things that are starting to grow. Because we're seeing what the women are doing. Shout out to the women who are winning championships in New York City. Like shout out Gino Oriema, shout out all the ladies who were in the room. He was talking about he's been there for 40
Yeah.
years, and
Yeah.
he's talking about this is the most women reporters that
Okay.
he's seen in the room, and he shot them out. So shout out all the ladies. I know it was Women's History Month last month, but we recycling. It's Women's History Month this month again because y'all continue to keep making history. And again, it's your boy Kenny St. Ville. This is New York Liberty Fan TV, presented by Bucket for Bucket. That is John Armwood of She Got Game. And yo, thanks for tapping in. Peace, y'all.
Appreciate you for having me, my man.
My guy. Good looks.